The secret of the true dragons may be the most important revelation in all of Tensura. And the most surprising part? Most fans believe they already understand what the true dragons are. After all, they've been part of the story since the very beginning. Veldora, Velgrynd, Velzard, and Veldanava. When we hear those names, we usually think of the same thing. The strongest beings in the world. The entities sitting at the absolute top of the power hierarchy. But there's one problem. That explanation is incomplete. Because when the light novel begins revealing their true nature, we realize that the true dragons were never just incredibly powerful creatures. In reality, they are something far more important. Something so important that it completely changes the way we view the Tensura universe. And it all starts with a simple question. What exactly is a true dragon? Most beings in Tensura belong to categories that are easy to understand. Humans are humans. Monsters are monsters. Demons are demons. Angels are angels. Even when they become incredibly powerful, they still belong to their original category. But the true dragons don't work that way. They aren't simply individuals who accumulated immense power. They didn't evolve their way to the top. They were born occupying a unique position within creation itself. And that difference is much bigger than it seems. Because while other beings exist within the rules of the world, the true dragons appear to exist as part of those rules. And that's where the secret that many fans overlook begins. For a long time, most people believed that the true dragons were simply the strongest species in the series. But the novel suggests something far deeper. It shows that these beings are connected to the very structure of reality, almost as if they are fundamental manifestations of the universe itself. And once you understand that, many things suddenly start making sense. For example, the incredible respect they receive from even the most powerful characters. Guy Crimson, Milim, the strongest demon lords. All of them acknowledge that the true dragons occupy a different position. A position that cannot be explained by power levels or abilities alone. Because this isn't just about strength. It's about nature. And that difference becomes even clearer when we look at the concept of death. For almost every character in Tensura, death means the end. Even incredibly powerful beings can disappear forever. But the true dragons are treated differently. The story repeatedly makes it clear that their existence is far more complex. Almost as if they are closer to natural phenomena than ordinary living creatures. And that's exactly why they're considered so special. Because destroying a body doesn't necessarily mean destroying what they represent. And that's when we begin to understand just how different they truly are from the rest of the world. But there is one true dragon who makes all of this even more impressive. Veldanava. Because when fans talk about him, they usually describe him with a single title. The creator of the world. But that information is much more important than it sounds. Think about it for a moment. If the creator of the universe belongs to the category known as the true dragons, then perhaps they were never simply the strongest creatures in existence. Perhaps they were always the very foundation upon which existence itself was built. And that completely changes the scale of the discussion. Because now we're no longer comparing characters. We're talking about entities connected to creation itself. And the more the novel reveals about Veldanava, the more obvious this becomes. His existence didn't merely influence events. It influenced reality itself. And that places the true dragons in a category that almost nobody can reach. But there's another detail that makes everything even more fascinating. Veldora. For a long time, many fans viewed him as little more than the most chaotic dragon in the story. The impulsive one. Rimuru's closest dragon ally. The creature that spent centuries sealed away. But once we understand the true nature of the true dragons, we begin to see him differently. Veldora isn't simply an overwhelmingly powerful monster. He is one of the most fundamental existences in the entire universe. And that explains why his presence has always had such an enormous impact. Even while sealed. Even while absent. His name continued influencing the world. Because the true dragons are important not only because of what they do. They are important because of what they are. And perhaps that's what many fans fail to realize. When we watch battles between demon lords, heroes, angels, or divine beings, we usually focus on who possesses the greatest power. But when true dragons enter the conversation, the question changes. Because we're no longer talking only about strength. We're talking about existence itself. And that's exactly why Rimuru's evolution becomes so incredible. For most of the story, the true dragons seemed completely unreachable. A category reserved for unique entities. something entirely separate from the rest of the world. But then Rimuru continues evolving, again, and again, and again, until something unthinkable begins to happen. The distance between him and these beings starts to shrink. And that should be impossible. Because we're not talking about increasing stats. We're not talking about gaining new abilities. We're talking about approaching beings that occupy a unique place within reality itself. And perhaps that's one of the biggest reasons why Rimuru's growth impresses novel readers so much. Because he isn't simply becoming stronger. He's approaching a level that once seemed reserved exclusively for the true dragons. And the closer he gets, the more important it becomes to understand what the true dragons truly are. Because without understanding them, it's impossible to understand the true scale of Rimuru's evolution. In the end, that's the secret that changes everything. The true dragons were never special simply because they possess more energy. They were never special simply because they win battles. They were never special simply because they stand at the top of the power hierarchy. They are special because their very existence is different. Because they represent something beyond strength. Something connected to the very structure of the Tensura universe. And once we understand that, we realize they were never just characters. They have always been one of the most important pieces of the entire story. Perhaps the most important piece of all. And what do you think? Do the true dragons still occupy a level that nobody can truly reach? Or has Rimuru already surpassed that level completely? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Dragon Fire.